So I want to talk about first what I don't like about this kata, and that is obviously the tatehiza position. That can be a very difficult position to get into, especially for a beginner who's only on his or her fourth kata in the set, and I hope that this doesn't discourage anyone from continuing in their training. And there are standing versions of this, which takes you away from having to do that tatehiza if you have bad knees or bad joints or any other reason that you may talk to your teacher about. What I do like about it is, again, the concept of tatehiza gets introduced to the student, and luckily there's only one in the set where you have to go into that posture. And I'll tell you how we do it here in this dojo. And again, we are not an official Seitei dojo, so what you see in this video might be a little different than what other teachers are teaching, and that's perfectly fine. So going in the Seiza, what we do is we bend our knees slightly. We don't bend over too much. We take our right hand and we do a little what's called hakama sabaki. We slap it right to left or left to right, whatever your teacher tells you to do. Now, one lesson here that a lot of folks miss, just getting into Seiza or tatehiza, is you can train your peripheral vision already. So you do a slight bend, and as I'm going into this, I'm surveying the room. This is already displaying zanshin, or that warrior spirit. So right, left, that's what we do here, and the left knee goes down, and the right knee is pointing that way. And then to go into Seiza, you simply just put the right knee down and sit in the Seiza. If you're going into tatehiza, well, from here what you do is you take your right foot and you put it in front, and here's where you can check to make sure both of your feet are going straight ahead. And then you take your right hand and give this hakama a second little slap, just a slight little adjustment, so you're not too scrunched up down there. Adjust your sleeves, and now you're in tatehiza. Now, I'll show you from behind what happens, and excuse my back. Again, hakama sabaki. My feet are straight and square, but then I take my left foot and I bring it over as I give my hakama a little adjustment here, and I sit right on that heel, right on my center line. Now, at the beginning, most folks' knees and legs and hips are not this flexible. So what you can do at the beginning is just bring the left foot over to your left side, your left butt cheek, so to speak, and start there. And then work your way to the center. And if you never make it to the center, at least in this dojo, that's perfectly fine. What's tricky about this waza is it's a little bit of punishment on the left knee. So please be careful when you're trying this position out. And you're going to feel right away how flexible your left knee is. Don't force anything, okay? Myself, I'm getting a little bit older now. My joints are starting to be not as flexible as they used to be. I tend to cheat over on the left side when I go into this posture, if my knees are feeling good that day. So the waza itself, another thing I like about it with the tatehiza position is it sort of reminds me, believe it or not, of some more advanced waza from this posture where you go forward. Sometimes, depending upon the individual, going forward from tatehiza can be a lot easier than some of the other techniques that are done in different styles where you have to rise and go back. That can be very, very difficult to do. So this waza in this set, I like it because it doesn't challenge the student physically too much once they've gotten into tatehiza. The very first movement is a strike to your opponent's face over here. And as the story goes, you have an opponent here in front of you and then one behind you. So it's a relatively simple scenario, and it introduces multiple opponents as well. So what I like to do when I practice this waza is as soon as I rise up, I put a little bit extra weight on my right foot here so it's easier to adjust my left foot, because you want your left foot lined up square so you can push off with that left foot as you do the strike to give you more power. You don't want to be on an angle by rising up and not moving your left foot to fix it. See how my body's going that way now? So from here, rise up, adjust the left foot, strike straight out. Now what you want to do is you want to just go after the person behind you, so you release the suba and you push that saya straight back so it's almost a little sneaky so they don't see you doing it, and when they realize what you're doing it's too late, as opposed to bringing the sword around and doing it. which is a no-no. So the sword goes back, you turn the whole body, open up the left hip, and there's your strike. What we do in this dojo, we augment that strike with the forearm attached to that handle so it's stronger. And we take our side and we push that our center. From here, we then rotate and go into furi kaburi. Again, make sure that left foot is squared off, left hand comes up, and then we do our kiriroshi. And then we do a flick chiburi. Now, when you do a flick chiburi, depending upon the style and your teacher may want you to move this left foot. What that does, that lines up your saya. So now, both your sword and your sai are pointing at the opponent, and it's easier to do this noto. So once you start doing the noto, when the right hand reaches your right foot, both go back. Then you do a little circle with the right foot. Settle on both your heels slightly. You still want to hover over them. And then the right foot comes out. And then you rise up and then go back left, right, left. Now again, this is how this school teaches this kata. It may differ. Your version may vary. I'll change. I'll go this side over here. So again, I lean forward out of tatehiza. Just lean onto my right foot a little bit. That gives me the room to adjust that rear foot. Strike. Release the suba. Open up. Come back. Slight adjustment for your chiburi noto. And then rise up. Now, a very, very important lesson here. I'm going back on this side. When you're doing your thrust to the rear, it is very important to open up the left hip. If you rush this, you will stab your upper left arm. And I've heard stories of folks putting the sword right through their bicep. That can't be very comfortable at all. So you open up and then do this motion here. Especially with the left hand, this forward motion where you're pinning your side to your center, you're actually delivering your arm close to the sword. So if you think about that, you don't want to do that until your hip is opened up. And if you watch my left foot when I do this, excuse my back again. If you watch my left foot, it moves, and then it moves back. Like many of the waza in this art that we practice, the rear foot is really, really important. It's almost like the rudder of your ship that's telling you in the direction that you're supposed to be going. So at the beginning, especially with this kata, worry about the feet before you worry about the sword, and then you won't stab yourself in the arm. Hope this helps, guys. Hope you're enjoying yourselves. Any questions, just throw a comment down there. Feel free to check out our distance program, our dojo here in Rhode Island. And again, we thank you very much.